Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this first matchup between Slayers MMA and SKMC.
Titans, two GSL champions going head-to-head in only round one of the MLG Spring Arena bracket, man. We are in for a treat.
That's what happens when you stack your bracket that hard. It's just absurd. You are going to see amazing players taken down to the losers bracket in their first match.
And for anybody wondering about how the map pool works here, we have 7 MLG maps. Both players have the choice to veto, and then we are left with 3 remaining maps. The first being Antigua Shipyard, second being Shakuris Plateau, and the third map, if needed, will be going over to Cloud Kingdom.
Indeed. I believe the veto system actually works that the person that picks the first then hands over to the other, and then he picks the remaining 2.
Yeah, I think that's how it works here. So we are going to have such an exciting, a fast and furious game here between these two guys. As I said, GSL champions going head-to-head here in the first round, man. I can't believe that.
Yeah, you know what? We might end up just collapsing after this one. We'll have to replace the casting team immediately. We'll have to be wheeled out on stretchers after the excitement we're going to see, and it's going to be kicking off on Tal'Dorei Malta.
Yeah, indeed. And sorry, I thought it was Antigua Shipyard. Tal'Dorei Malta first map, sorry. And of course, here are the 2 players. There is MC to the right, and of course, MMA to the left.
Oh, yes, indeed. The beautiful New York skyline in the background right there. It will be the unknowing arena for this fantastic match. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tal'Dorei Malta, and it's my absolute pleasure to bring you the one and only Slayers MMA. He is in the red trunks. He is playing Terran to the southeast versus his mighty opponent. It is SKMC. He is in the blue trunks playing Protoss to the southwest.
And MMA had an absolutely fantastic road to MLG here to qualify. I mean, he went through Nest, he went through the STC, Pult, to grab a top 4 finish in the Korean qualifier to come here to New York City to play here. And he is in for a very tough match, game number 1.
He absolutely is, and while you might think that that Korean qualifier was the trial by fire, absolutely not. This entire bracket is not remotely easy in any way. You've got excellent players. The well-known Koreans, of course, are a threat, but lurking beneath, always that big risk, that huge risk of running up against a European player whose style is not so well known and can catch you off guard.
MC has been very unpredictable in Protoss versus Terran recently and has decided to go for that 13 gateway we just saw. MMA, though, on the other hand, has not taken a refinery yet and will be going for this 1 barracks expansion play. So MC has also taken gas in the background here. So that's something that MC can play around with, could go for a little bit of aggression early on, but that's MC's style. Even though he can be unpredictable, the kind of go-to style MC uses in this matchup is pressure from the start to the end.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of a gamble from MMA not to actually grab that gas early on, to have a response or perhaps put on pressure of his own. And the crazy thing about MC that I always notice is that, yes, he pressures early on, but somehow, after the pressure is over, he's suddenly sitting on more bases, more gateways. His macro behind it has always been perfect. He never slips.
And MC's not really going to have an opportunity to scout here either. Of course, the Marines are starting to come out now. The probe is in the top right, and is not really going to get any information if MMA places his Marines in the correct position. And this can be very frustrating for MC, especially as we talked about MMA having a slight few result problems against Protoss. But that is the same side for MC, who has been struggling. He's been knocked down into up and down matches against Terran players.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see how this one develops as we see the expansion coming down for MMA, that gasless expand. Nice and standard, nice and economically focused. Can MC do anything to actually apply pressure? Zealot already moving across the map to have a little bit of a poke around.
Ooh, and MC's actually chrono boosted once into the gateway here, then back into the Nexus. This shows us that he's rushing that Stalker out, but at the same time will expand behind it. He's looking to catch MMA off guard a little bit with a Zealot and a Stalker Stalker. There's no bunker down. He's actually thrown down double barracks and double refinery behind it, skipping on the bunker. MC could actually do a bit of damage here. The Zealot buffering, trying to get in there with the Stalker doing damage behind.
Certainly a possibility, but note that MMA's deployment's looking pretty good as well. He's ready to receive that kind of pressure. The Marine right there wasn't quite in range to engage, but good little bit of step coming in from MMA just to prevent that Zealot from going in. Stalker arrives just a little bit too late.
Yeah, Stalker wasn't really with the Zealot there, so Zealot lost all its shield before the Stalker could do anything. And MMA will want to throw down a bunker very shortly, but we do have the expansion coming up for MC in the background. Now, there is that bunker coming down from MMA to make sure he's safe. Ooh, lucky MMA gets into the base here, sees the one gateway, sees the no added on gateways before the gas. Gas first here before the extra gateways, which is pretty damn nice.
Oh, he couldn't be more happy with the amount of information that he's just gotten from that, being able to exploit the fact that that Stalker was out of position to go for that little bit of pressure, and now MMA with a little bit of momentum and a hell of a lot of information, something that MC certainly does not have at this time.
Double Tech Labs down, of course. Stim Combat Shield probably coming straight up here. And then he's got the reactor down too. Oh my god, a Stalker trying to get hold of that Xelnoga Tower, pushed immediately back. And so far, MMA, everything is going in MMA's favor though. But MC has been chrono boosting quite a lot into the Nexus and has quite a few probes out. But he has 66 energy on the main Nexus. So very interested to see what he's going to do with that, whether he starts to chrono boost into the gateways to put some form of pressure on his opponent at all.
He certainly could do that. The third gateway has just become a warp gate. Does he immediately follow that up with warping and chrono boost? We're about to find out from that. Certainly nothing from that as of yet. He actually chrono boosts again into the Nexus, so more of an economically focused move.
MMA, though, has quite a decent force out already. He's gone for concussive shells first rather than combat shields. So these Marauders can be a bit of a pain, and MC's moving across the map with a very expensive army.
Yeah, and he needs to be careful one way or the other. Thankfully for MMA, he moves back, could have been very easily trapped by those force fields, even though some damage could have been done. MC taking a little bit of map control, has a look around, sees what he can see, notices the retreating army, and then backing off himself. He's got to follow that up with an observer.
What we're seeing here is double gas going down for MCU. Could be going straight up to Colossus Tech here. But MMA has actually skipped the engineering bay. He's gone for a pretty damn fast factory. So he's actually going to hit basically the fastest, well, aside from not getting stimuli on, the fastest medivacs you can get out here, which MC's going to have to be on the ball, and that's what our observers are going to give him the information for. But we do not see the robotics bay come down. We actually see Twilight Council and Forge here.
Interesting decision right there from MC. Could, of course, be going for the early chargelet, could be going for the Stalkers. There is actually only one Stalker on the field at the moment, although the army is quite small. There's a few more Zealots coming in, so could very well be early chargelet. Yeah,
I think he's going to go early charge, probably just throw down the Templar Archives. It's a style that he has played around with quite a bit, and of course he's saving up his gas now too, instead of warping his Stalkers or Sentries. But MMA has a decent force out. He's about to have Stim. And very shortly, we're going to be seeing these double medivacs come out. There is the charge and the +1 armor to keep those Zealots alive for a little bit longer. But MMA is going to hit this timing, and if MC doesn't spend every single chrono boost on these upgrades, they won't even come out if MMA decides to move out.
Indeed, and it's looking like he may want to do that sooner rather than later. Interesting positioning right there on MMA's command center. Decides to build it up to the top instead of waiting for those rocks to go down.
And that observer is actually not going to see it here either. It's actually waypointed down to the lower third base. And
very nice.
We actually see in the production tab now the Templar Archives coming down, as well as 3 extra gateways. So he's filled up his army with Zealots there, as we see, and a scan lands down and actually sees the Templar Archives. And as well in the production tab, the Ghost Academy started immediately. MMA, things are running smooth.
He's on top of this one, there's no question about that. But as always, it doesn't matter how much you prepare, because no plan survives first contact with the enemy. It depends on how this engagement actually goes. MMA with the mobility.
And MMA knows that, you know, he's teching right now. Templar Archives was coming down, so MMA can open up a pretty nice timing with his opponent, who's saved up gas for High Templar, who wants to research Storm. And MMA coming from behind here, looking around. Is he going to drop onto the natural? Probably just move towards the front here. Archons have to be made immediately.
Yeah, quick stim right there. Shutting down the assimilator. That's a nice freebie on this map. You can always snipe that one off, and there's really no way to resist. But it does also give the Protoss player the opportunity to roll out and try and get a surround. And here comes the charge. Force field's placed down. Doesn't catch all that many with it.
And MMA can actually pick up and drop in the main here. MC has to run back. to make sure that he doesn't get put in checkmate, basically. But he does have now that +1 armor finish, +2 on the way, as well as a third base. So things are pretty tense between these two guys, but nothing drastic is going to happen now. There's no timing that MMA can hit. Of course, we have Storm on the way now, and he's quite confident with that third base coming down at a pretty decent timing. He's now just waiting to get the Ghost kicked in to continue his own upgrades, as he has fallen down a little bit, as he hasn't actually researched that +1 armor yet.
No, he hasn't, and that is such a critical upgrade to grab against a chargelet build like this, and he just does not have that as of yet. More medevacs coming out, personal cloaking on the way. There's the armor upgrade coming up from the one and only Slayers MMA as MC rolls out across the map, grabs control of the Zelnaga watchtower, looking for an opening, but neither of these guys wanted to go in yet.
And remember, this force that MMA has is very, very weak to Ghosts. If MMA lands the EMPs, the Archons, of course, with no shields, the High Templar will not be able to Storm that he's saving at the back as well, just building up their energy. Storm is about to complete, but MC's always been a fantastic player who's always on top of his gateway production. He has so many gateways behind, but it looks like MMA is getting ready to move out. He's got to be very careful.
Indeed he is, and I have to wonder if MC thinks this is a 2-base army, because it is not. It is a 3-base army. If MC overcommits thinking that his opponent has less than he really has, then things could go disastrously wrong for the Protoss player.
Warp Prism on the way now as well, so MC gearing up. Could be dropping or keeping the High Templar within the Warp Prism, dropping them out, landing the Storms, knowing that his army is so incredibly weak. But MC moving forward as such a strong army now with +2 armor finish, looking for an engagement, but the Ghosts have arrived.
Yeah, you got to watch out for that. MC needs to be careful not to get hit by the EMPs, and he's able to get out there just before that as MMA tried to draw him in, and MC looking for positioning on the force fields, which he once again doesn't get. MMA now rolling across to the third base. He's now going to force an encounter.
High Templar going to have to jump right into that Warp Prism if he wants to keep that alive. One Medivac actually nowhere. Oh my god, what are the High Templar doing down there? And the Warp Prism, oh my god.
That is not a good start right there, and MMA is going to try and take full advantage of that. Chargelet's coming in, don't get the positioning, another EMP striking down on top of the Chargelet, trying to get us around. And oh, good God. No Storm follow-up for that whatsoever. The Zealots are getting absolutely destroyed as a direct result of that. MMA with a fantastic medevac count. Plenty of energy. Surges forward. Down goes the Chargelet count. Immediate warp-ins to follow that one up. Here comes the Storm. Can he land it? 2 Storms. Quick dodge out there by MMA.
Yeah, and MMA is going to run now. Doesn't have any Ghost Pipe, but that was a very tense moment there for MC, who actually got sniped with 2 High Templar, EMP'd on the other 2. Couldn't land the Storms, which is, of course, the most important thing there. But look at this, the distraction from MC, keeping him alive here. 4 Zealots come out from the side here, and won't really do too much damage. Just have a look at the damage. Well, actually got 10 workers killed in the background there. And that's pretty good. It pulls MMA back, most importantly.
Yeah, he's got to stop MMA from completely running away with it. Now sitting on 4 bases, has only now just discovered that, no, it was not a 2-base Terran, and I've got to be very concerned about that. He's adding on now more gateways, getting his production rolling. We're sitting on 6 for the longest time. Warps in a ton more High Templar, keeping up his upgrade count as well quite nicely.
And we have Zealots in the main base of MMA right now. 4 Zealots from the Warp Prism come in, pulling MMA back out of position. At the same time, MMA has a few units which are going to get cleaned up super easily here, but at the same time, he's dropping in the natural location for MC, dropping in the main base. MMA ripping MC from behind here.
The classic play. Oh my god, look at the gateway shut down by that already. That was not well set up there by MC, and the vast majority of production is now shut down. The forge going down as well, crucial tech structures.
And he gets out with a lot of these units, drops them onto the third base, unprotected again. He's supply blocks, so he can't warp in units. MMA crippling MC with these drops while clearing up his own main base here, and this actually may have got the upper hand on MC.
It's got an absolutely ridiculous upper hand over MC right now. That supply block is absolutely critical. Nice little snipe up there by MC, but the third is getting nailed down here by MMA. There's nothing to stop it. Coming in at the last possible moment to try and save it. It's not going to happen. And down goes the third.
And he's dropped the main base again here. MMA all over the place, taking down pylons that are powering these gateways. MC trying to get the double forge up because not only is he's lost his third Nexus, he's lost the forges and that upgrade advantage.
Oh, losing High Templar here and there as well, not getting the engagements that he actually needs. Finally able to shepherd MMA out of the base, but another drop down to the bottom, dealing yet more damage. And this is the MMA that we know and love, dropping all over the place, the fastest player you could possibly imagine.
Yeah, his strength here as a player, kicking in while taking a fourth base, adding on extra production facilities. MMA's multitasking is winning him this game. His first game of the tournament here against MC. And with 2-2 upgrades about to kick in, he could actually just rebuild his army because he has to get everything back together now, line up the ghosts, and get ready to take an engagement because despite MC losing a lot of economy, a lot of upgrades, he still has a pretty damn scary army.
Yeah, he does. He basically has a very big Chargeler army that is sitting on 3 armor upgrades. But with 2-2 just kicking in, that essentially negates that advantage. And MMA could start to roll forward, and it's going to be difficult for MC to resist that.
And at the same time, we do have the robotics facility, Robotics Bay coming down. He's trying to tech over into Colossus, knowing that this army is so weak. There is the drop we're actually seeing. Warded away by MMA, sees units already in preparation. Oh my god, feedbacks! Kill that. That's our second observer picking up that drop for you guys. A new feature to the MLG stream. And now we are having MC move across with his main force. Very scary, but there's so many ghosts here, Total Biscuit.
There really, really are. But look at the split on the force already. Yes, the EMP goes off, but that army's actually coming around the side. Oh, that's a little bit scary. He's got to be extremely careful about this. The Archon taking a lot of the damage. 2 more EMPs coming down. A lot of energy from the sentries gone as well. So cutting that army in half is not going to be an option now.
And we have a Warp Prism in the main base again here with Zealots and High Templar this time around, doing damage. And at the same time, we have the engagement coming down. Ghost caught at the front, actually.
That's never good, but they get a furious volley of EMPs all over the army, but he doesn't catch the majority of the Zealots at the back, and that was a nice storm going down there, severely weakening the ghost count.
And MMA's expanded all over the top right of this map. The drop now getting cleaned up a little bit here, does have a lot of units. EMP's the High Templar, and this drop is going to get pushed away. The Warp Prism's going to have to pick up and leave, but the force of MC is getting weaker and weaker. His economy is also incredibly weak now. If you look at the minimap, it's like a Zerg player playing, expanding all over the place.
Yeah, and it's completely unharassed. That's the crucial thing about it. Yes, that Warp Prism is going to the main and the natural. It's not going in to the main one. There he goes. A huge volley of EMPs once again. A follow-up storm just to ward his opponent away. Using that, he doesn't have the force fields to prevent the army from chasing him down. And as you said, MC's army getting worn down here, and the transition to Colossus is not happening.
One storm left, or 2 storms actually, from the 2 High Templar on the higher ground. Has 1 backup High Templar, 1 remaining storm. If he doesn't hit that storm, he could be in a lot of trouble.
Feedbacks go down on the medevac right there, just try and clean that over the place. No storm, he runs right into it. MMA taking severe damage here, and here we go. We've got MC now charging after the weakened army of MMA, but MMA able to get a good firing line up there. It's simply not enough, however, but here come the reinforcements on the high ground. A furious counterattack right here from MMA as he sets up his firing line. It guns down the Archons. The Zealots fall incredibly fast. Massive storm on the right flank. It collapses as the reinforcements from MC charge their way across the battlefield.
This is the opportunity that MC needs. This, if he's going to win this game, it's right now. He's mined out in his main, almost in the natural. He just needs to reinforce this army, and he could potentially win here. MMA knows he's in danger, walls up or brings up the supply depots on his natural with a bunker too. MC trying to cut off the economy. Little does he know there are expansions all over this map. And in the main base, a big warp in of Zealots, once again hurting MMA from behind.
Yeah, trying to get as much of that production down as possible, but I have to wonder if it's going to be enough with that many barracks coming up to follow that up. Right now, I feel MC's got an opportunity that is rapidly disappearing because of those 3-3 upgrades. He must do damage now before they kick in.
And he's trying to get in there. He has a lot of Archons here. There's absolutely no ghost. This is the one opportunity that MC can actually win this game with.
He needs it. He's got to batter his way through there. He brings in Zealots from the back as well, cutting off the reinforcements. Does he have enough firepower to break it? The answer is no, and MMA holds.
4 High Templar at the back, though. They could be game changers, but MMA knows about him, trying to target them down. 2 Storm do miss there, have to go immediately over there. Once again, Zealots in the main base here, still shredding stuff apart. That Warp Prism, a nuisance. but the longer this goes on, the better it becomes for MMA now. With the stronger economy, the better upgrades about to kick in with 3-3 on the way.
I have to wonder if he's done enough production damage. It doesn't matter if you've got a better economy if you can't spend the money. He's taken a lot of damage to his infrastructure. He can't reinforce as quickly, and that's always the problem with endgame Terran, the ability to actually replace that army faster than the Protoss opponent. A big drop on the way here.
But 2 High Templar getting ready to feedback. 1 feedback, 2 feedback to Archon, and new units coming in. The cannon takes the glory in the bottom left there, killing absolutely everything. But MC's army, that does help a lot. That's 3 medivacs, you know, full of units. MMA has to be very careful loading up another one, but MC's in the center here.
Yeah, I'm loving the map control that MC is currently displaying here. He's taking good engagements over and over again. He has prevented MMA from tearing him to pieces in multiple locations, and he's going for the big fights, which is what he always excels in.
And MC in the top left is about to find out of, oh, actually 2 High Templars got immediately picked off. Not really cost efficient there. Amazing news for MMA though. 3 or 4 storms, 2 High Templar gone. MC knows about the expansions in the top right now, so he also knows that he has to start evolving his own tech. That Colossus has never come into play, but with the new expansion on the way, he has to get the gas mining, he has to think about tech switching over, and oh my god, the Warp Prism is on its way once again to the main base of MMA.
He really wants that production taken out. He's not even focusing on the economy, knowing that it's inefficient to try and take out Planetary Fortress. Costs him so much to do so. Doesn't want to dedicate that much of an army to it. He wants to prevent his opponent from reinforcing. He wants to gain that edge as the warping follows up there. And there we go, an Archon drop into the center of the base, followed by Zealot support warping as a large army of Ghosts marches across the map, potentially very vulnerable.
And they are cloaked too, so or can be cloaked, should I say. So be very careful. Oh my god, EMP's coming down all over those Archons.
Wow, Archons melt so incredibly fast. That's half the Archon force dissolving in a matter of seconds. Incredible stuff there from MMA, who has regained a significant supply advantage.
And very shortly, well, MC actually needs to mine from that base on the left-hand side. He's not actually mining from it whatsoever yet. Yep. And you know, he's falling further and further behind in terms of the economy. There's actually a Planetary Fortress in the top right, never going to be busted. For some reason, MMA has nukes on the way, which is going to be very interesting to see how those are going to come into play, whether he'll aim mineral lines, whether he'll try to land onto the army here.
With such a ridiculous ghost count, you can hardly blame him. Yeah, spend 100 on that. You never know when it might come in handy. And we do see a sneaky little ghost near the third base.
There we have a ghost here that looks like it's going to be the one with the nuke landing down in the mineral line. There's the ghost. It is cloaked, undetected. MC does not know about it. The nukes are finished. He has a nuke available. Is MC even going to look in there? He's looking around everywhere. Oh, does MC know?
Now's the time to have a look at MC's player camera, because
he doesn't know where it is. He doesn't know. He's looking absolutely everywhere.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh! Down goes MC's economy right there on the third base. An absolutely fantastic hit with the nuclear missile. 2 more Ghost Academies being added on. MMA just wants to gut that economy.
Warp Prism in the main base here again, dropping Zealots. Another nuke coming down, and this is on the natural expansion this time. And MC just getting thrown apart. Once again, MC doesn't know where it is. It's very hard to find it, and he's not going to move units once again, losing a couple of probes in gas. But it looks like we are about to have the final engagement here. MMA lining up.
Hell of a lot of cloak ghosts right there. Detected already by the Observer. The Observer sniped off. Absolutely crucial move right there by MMA. Plenty of energy available on those ghosts. The storm goes down. MMA walks right into it. Absolutely devastating storms. Here come the ghosts once again. There's the Chargers coming in to try and shut them down. Takes out 1, 2, 3 ghosts. A storm right on top of them once again. And MMA continue to push forward. MC in a terrible position right now, trying to push this back as much as he can, but will he even have the economy to warp in more units to follow this up?
MMA's on the verge of taking this game. These Archons, though, preventing him. Oh my god, MC holds MMA off once again. But the real mark you look at, the Medivacs still remain alive. He still has a sick economy, and production is still very, very good here for MMA. And it's 170 supply.
GG, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. He knows his economy was not in the state he needed it to be after that one. After taking not 1 but 2 nuclear missile hits, he loses over half of his probe count. As you said before, he wasn't able to transfer to that 4th base as quickly as he needed to. He couldn't pick up on the harassment, and he couldn't deal with the fact that MMA had plonked down some planetary fortresses in that 5th and 6th base location. He never got the harassment down. He never stopped the juggernaut of the economy. And the attempt to shut down the production only worked for a limited time.
MMA picks up #1 game, and that was a pretty fast, furious, drops all over the place style from MMA. His true strength as a player, you know, using that multitasking, using that speed against MC. But MC was actually up to par in that game, dealing with a lot of the drops very nicely. Even though it was going on all over the place, he managed to stabilize, which is so important because it's so difficult. If you lose a third, he lost his third Nexus there, but was still able to go and keep going on. But he was always on the back foot, which is why MMA was, you know, allowed to have expansions all over the map. But the next map, Shakur's Plateau, going to be difficult for MC. But if MC is going to do it, this is the map he has to do it on. That's
very true. Should we toss it quickly over to JP to find out his thoughts on that particular matchup?
Yeah, I mean, what a way to start off the tournament here. I thought that MC did very, very well defending against that, but for whatever reason, MMA was just always one step ahead of him. Economically, he had those bases up in the top right that MC just didn't see for very long. And I think because of that, he just pulled ahead. It was a good game regardless, though, and I can't wait to see what goes on in game 2.
Yep, no question about that. Thanks, JP. That is going to be Shakur's Plateau, as you mentioned earlier, a classic map, falling a little bit out of favor lately.
Yeah, we haven't really seen too many tournaments that use this map, but still it's here. It's going to be played. MMA versus MC, game #2. These guys are almost ready by the looks of it to get started on this next game here, this next map. Very important for MC to be able to pull this back. He doesn't want to fall down to the lower bracket so incredibly early on. There you can see him flexing those muscles, those biceps, and the beautiful New York City skyline behind.
I don't know who's more beautiful, Apollo, SKMC or the New York City skyline.
I don't know. It's a tough call. It's a tough call, but there's the shot of both of the players. MMA just discussing with an admin about something by the looks of it, but we'll be starting this game very shortly, very momentarily here.
Yep.
The beautiful backdrop. It actually is. It's actually real, by the way. If anybody feels it's painted on, it's actually real.
Yeah, this is not virtual reality. This is where we actually are in a very, very tall building, and it is absolutely wonderful. It looks like we are about ready to kick it off on MLG Shakur's Plateau.
Yeah, indeed. MMA, very focused, great hairstyle, lovely sideburns, black hair, beautiful face, beautiful skyline. As I commentate what you guys can see. MC, beautiful hair, glasses,
it's true,
in-ear plugs,
true play-by-play, true play-by-play.
White t-shirt, and a couple of buildings behind. And it looks like we're almost ready here, Total Biscuit.
I think I now have the power. I've been promoted, and that makes me feel wonderful. I'm pressing that button, and here we go. Countdown has now begun. For MLG Shakur's Plateau, will MMA sweep potentially one of his most difficult matchups in the first round of the winner bracket, or will we see the comeback here from MC? We're about to find out.
About to find out of all. Will MC get his revenge, or will MMA beat him down once again like we've seen so many times? But now it's time to find out whether that'll happen.